The views expressed on the following program do not necessarily represent those of this station or its management. It's time for Where You Live with Gene and Tony, the show that's all about owning, buying, selling, renting, and association management. If it involves a home, we'll talk about it. Here's your chance to get your homeowner questions answered. From the Concierge Landscape Studios, here's Gene and Tony.
Needed the shelter of someone's arms, and there you were. Needed someone to understand my ups and downs, and there
Good morning.
you
Welcome
were.
to Where You Live with Gene and Tony. I'm Gene Sullivan.
And I'm Tony Crockett. How are you doing, Gene?
I'm very fine. Thank you, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. You all ready for Christmas?
No, but I will be. I always am.
Yep. I always pull through at the last minute.
And now, do you have any big plans for?
I'm
the
taking
holidays?
time off. Going to see family and take it easy. Mostly. That's what I'm going to do.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. Well, folks, it's great to have you with us and listening to Where You Live with Gene and Tony. We're brought to you by Natural Green Lawn and Landscape. And we are broadcasting. I'll try that again. We're broadcasting from the Natural Green Lawn and Landscape Studios. There we go. Remember, Natural Green is a locally owned and operated lawn and landscape care company, and their mission to use the most environmentally sensitive products available to keep your lawn and landscape looking lush and beautiful while still healthy for people and pets. Whether you choose their organic program or their traditional, rest assured they are always using sound principles for some great results. Give them a call at 763-213-2410. We're also brought to you by Extreme Exteriors and American Family Insurance, the Kim Bennett Agency. Now, last week, Tony, you had a nice story that you shared with everybody. And since we're still in that Christmas spirit, do you have another one for us?
I do. There is another one this week. Wouldn't it be great if we could find one of these every week? A day brightener every week. Well, we'll look for those. But this week's day brightener is an HOA toy drive in Sherman Oaks, California. The Sherman Oaks Homeowners Association sponsored its 14th annual toy drive at Gelson's Market in Sherman Oaks. It was an overwhelming success thanks to the outpouring of the community and many politicians who all brought unwrapped toys for needy children. The toys received filled 2 huge vans. Santa was there to greet people. Gelson's provided delicious refreshments, and many police and firefighters were also present, and the neighbors enjoyed chatting with them as well as their elected officials. It's a good example, I think, of a community coming together for a common purpose and for a charitable purpose.
So last week it was an association that was doing a food drive. This
That's
week
right.
It was
the
a
toy
drive for kids.
And we talked about this last week. Homeowners associations are often asking, how do we build a sense of community here? How do we get people to show up at the annual meeting? How do we get people to care about where they live? And I think this type of event is perfect for community building.
Well, it's great. It's great to see that. But, of course, it seems like the stories we seem to cover more often than not are just the opposite. Just like our very first story today. And so without further ado, we will continue on now with property management in the news. Property management in the news is brought to you by Home Furniture and Abbey Floor Coverings. Their showrooms are staffed with professionals who will help you choose what you need to fit both your lifestyle and budget. Now, whatever you need, chances are they'll have what you're looking for. If you wish to avail yourself of special pricing, discounts you're not going to find anywhere else, all Where You Live listeners can call Customer Service Coordinator Lori Matson at 952-224-2663. That's 952-224-2663. Well, let's begin with our very first story. And this is coming from the Washington Post. And it is in, I believe, Virginia, in the town of Reston. And, if I'm going to begin with this story, I think we need some proper mood music as I read this story. Do you have something for us, Chris? Go ahead.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
Okay, here is the story. It is the Shadowwood condominiums make new Virginia case law. Apparently, there is a condominium complex called the Shadowwood condominiums, and they have written themselves into Virginia history. For years, the board has been imposing fees for things like calling the association office or having the wrong color of blinds. They've been known to tow cars. Well, a lot of associations tow cars.
Sure.
But on the day before Thanksgiving, okay? They've turned off the heat, the air conditioning to the units of owners who were in arrears, or because they just had violation fees that hadn't been paid. So last year, a Fairfax County judge permanently enjoined the Shadowwood condominiums from doing any of that stuff at all. The association appealed to the state Supreme Court, and it says they were using their own members' victims' money to pay lawyers.
Which is, again, the media is always trying to separate the homeowners association from its members, and they're one and the same.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it says that that Shadowwood has enshrined themselves in Virginia law under the concept that you can't make up rules and impose fees if you're not in the development's original master deed. So apparently the state Supreme Court said, okay, we're going to change it. Here's a new day dawning. Unless you put those rules and regulations in the governing documents, in the Declaration and Covenants, you're not going to be able to establish rules or change them.
That would really change things here in Minnesota, wouldn't it? Because most governing documents in Minnesota specifically say that the board of directors can, from time to time, draft rules and regulations that don't conflict with the original documents.
That's a pretty serious thing for a judge to say, hey,
it is.
This is what we want to do. Let's take a look a little bit more at some of those examples.
Of why it came to this.
Why it came to this, yes. I think that I have a couple here that I have put down. One is, here's the one with a towing instance. There is one homeowner at Shadowwood who said that he had his car towed because the plate registration had expired. Now, associations do have rules that'll say that the car has got to be street legal. Most
multifamily communities, whether it's a homeowners association or a rental, have a rule saying you cannot store any inoperable vehicle in the parking areas, and that includes people or vehicles with expired plates.
But here's the thing with this one homeowner. The license plate registration was supposed to be done at the end of the month. So let's say it's August 31st, okay? This association waited till 12:01 in the morning on
September 1st.
Yes, on September 1st. And they had the car towed away.
Whoa. That's proactive management, isn't it, Gene?
That's more than proactive. That's vindictive management.
That is insensitive. Yes.
I mean, you have to, with some of these rules that these guys were enforcing here, you have got to really rearrange your day just to be able to accomplish some of these things that they did.
Well, they have somebody monitoring the parking lots every day. That's unusual, isn't it?
And then to wait and actually have a watch on until 12:01 and to have that done. I mean, you don't have a life if you're on the board and you are waiting to do that.
Well, lots of examples like this where, and you and I talked about this before the show, it's not necessarily violating their governing documents to do this or to have this rule about inoperable vehicles. It's just the way things are being applied and enforced, isn't it?
Yeah.
The board president, who is the major culprit here, is who most of the members who are complaining about this board president, also charged and accepted $75,000 in quotes consulting fees from the association.
Oh, that's another example, and we're going to talk about that, but we got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to deal with the Shadowwood condominiums, or maybe Grinch Condos Estates is what we should call them. Anyway, don't go away. A lot more of Where You Live with Gene and Tony after these messages.
You're a monster, Mr. Grinch. Your heart's an empty